Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron, as you could tell by the humongous smile on my face. Everton 3, Newcastle United 0 tonight at Goodison Park. One of the best nights I can remember at Goodison Park for a long time. That was Everton Football Club tonight. That was my Everton. That was our Everton. That was the team that we all fell in love with when we were kids. That is the team that we all put up with when they lose games or when they frustrate us or when things go on behind the scenes. That is the team that we wake up every morning thinking about and go to sleep every night thinking about. That is Everton Football Club. I am on the verge of losing my voice for the second time within a week, and I think if I catch laryngitis again, it would be quite a serious situation considering I've only just gotten over it, but I can't help it. How can you go and witness a game of football like that, a performance like that, a result like that, and not scream and shout your head off? Maybe it was a bit excessive at times from me, but as I said, that was one of the best Goodison Park experiences I have witnessed in a long time. We've spoken so much this season about how our form at Goodison Park hasn't been good enough, how, we're constantly creating opportunities and not taking them and then losing games. And I'll be perfectly honest with you all, at half-time, I felt like this very much could be another one of those situations. We created a plethora of opportunities in the first half. Dominic Calvert-Lewin could have had an hat-trick. Certainly should have had one of them. The one that fell to him on the volley comes to mind. Dwight McNeil had an opportunity that he missed. We had another couple of chances that, as I say, on another day would fancy us to put in the back of the net. And when we didn't, and we went in 0-0 at half time, I was sort of looking at my dad thinking, is this going to be another one of those games where we should be winning, we should be ahead, we should be cruising, and ultimately we're not, and we end up getting beat and losing to a silly goal on the counter or something like that. And it wasn't, and I've never ever been so happy to not have been proven wrong, because I didn't say that would happen, but I did have that feeling, and I've never ever been so happy to have been proven wrong about a feeling. What a night that was for this football club. Forget for the moment what it means to the Premier League table. Takes us out of the relegation zone, of course, for the moment. Luton just sitting below us. So that obviously is huge. But the significance of that result and that performance is much more. Coming up against the side that are the media's favourites at the moment. The team that it seems everybody wants to win everything outside of Everton Football Club. It seems everybody wants Newcastle United to be the top side, and to turn up and beat them as comfortably as that. And some people might say it wasn't comfortable because you didn't score the first goal until the 75th minute. But as I said, we had 4 or 5 huge opportunities in that first half. Dominic Calvert-Lewin's opportunity that falls to him on the volley is really poor. He should be doing better with it. And I can say that now with a smile on my face and with a little bit of a laugh, because we've won the game and ultimately we've come away with a big 3 points. But he should be doing better with that. And to still keep our heads up, still battle, still throw everything at it in that second half. Not only get the goal, but to get the goal and then carry on pushing, carry on pressing to go and get the second and then ultimately the third is huge. We could have sat back after that first goal. Dice could have brought on Michael Keane, he could have brought on Ben Godfrey, and he could have said, right, sit back, everyone behind the ball for 20 minutes and pile pressure on us, and that would have given Newcastle, a load of confidence, and they'd have probably fancied themselves to nick an equaliser with 20 minutes to go or whatever it was, to nick an equaliser. But we didn't. We thought, no, we've been the much better team. We deserve the 3 points, and we're going to go and we're going to get another. And, big thanks to, firstly, I want to thank Kieran Trippier for throwing himself on his arse a couple of times tonight and gifting us a couple of big opportunities. Secondly, I want to thank Anthony Gordon for not turning up, which I think was quite hilarious. He's always great at laughing at the fans and giving it all of that, but when it actually comes to playing football and doing what he's paid to do, he showed again today why Everton were right to get rid of him. I'm just absolutely buzzing. I'm absolutely buzzing, because that is Everton Football Club to me. That is, everybody against us, backs against the wall, but we come out fighting, we come out swinging, and we come out battling, and they felt like there was a real togetherness there at Goodison Park today, and we've seen that a couple of times away from home this season, and something that we spoke so much about when we were previewing this game was how do we transfer that away form into home form? How do we transfer that atmosphere, that energy, that togetherness away from home into Goodison Park? And I feel like tonight we did just that. That was the happiest I've been watching an Everton win for a long, long time. And yes, I was absolutely buzzing when we beat Bournemouth. I was buzzing when we beat Burnley. But there was just something about that today that just felt vintage Everton. It felt very much like what I knew Everton as growing up, you know, in the days of David Moyes, when we'd come up against these teams that people would think would wipe the floor with us comfortably, and these teams that are seen as one of the best in the league, etc., 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 and they just wouldn't be able to deal with us at Goodison Park. And that was exactly what it was today. Credit to Eddie Howe, by the way, because that is a bang average Newcastle side. Bang average team. How they finished in the Champions League places last season is beyond me, because they are not very good. That manager has done wonders with a squad filled with 90% of bang average players and the odd gem here and there. And I know they had a couple of players out injured, and people will say, oh, it wasn't their first team squad, but the majority of that midfield and attacking line was their first team squad, and they were atrocious tonight. But it's not about Newcastle. I couldn't care about Newcastle, as I said in the preview. I've got nothing personally against them. I don't like them as a football team, but I don't really like anybody as a football team other than Everton. Tonight is about Everton Football Club, those players, that manager, and us as fans sticking a middle finger up to the Premier League, saying, fuck you, no matter what you try and do to drag us down, no matter how desperately you are to get us relegated, no matter how desperate you are to eradicate the problem that is Everton and the Evertonians, because we are one of the only fan bases in the world that will seemingly stick up for their football club when done wrong. No matter how badly you try and do that, we will bounce back, and we will bounce back 10 times as hard. And we did that today. Every single player to a man, fucking fantastic tonight. Every single player to a man. Jordan Pickford, unbelievable. Didn't have a massive amount to do. Let's be honest. He wasn't put under huge amounts of pressure. They had a couple of moments, couple of half moments. Anthony Gordon had a couple where he passed it straight to Jordan Pickford, which I think was laughable. But he was excellent with what he had to do. And, you know, Newcastle United have never and will never have a goalkeeper as good as Jordan Pickford. And that's why it winds them up so much that he plays for Everton Football Club. He was excellent today. The back four, by the way, you know, this Newcastle United forward line of Anthony Gordon, Almiron, Isaac, you know, Bruno Gomes, they all turned up at Goodison last season. They wiped the floor with us. They completely wiped the floor with us. Whatever it was, 4-1, you know, 3-1, whatever it was, they wiped the floor with us comfortably. They had no problem moving the ball around. They had no problem creating chances. They had no problem putting the ball in the back of the net. Tonight, I think after 70 minutes, 80-odd minutes, it was when we scored the first goal, I clocked them all sort of looking at each other as if to say, we've got no fucking chance here. Vitaly Mykolenko, again, absolutely unbelievable. And for all of those Newcastle fans, Anthony Gordon doesn't play on that side. Well, he played the majority of the first half on Vitaly Mykolenko's side. And then Eddie Howe had to change it because he realised that he wasn't getting anything out of Mykolenko. Mykolenko was absolutely phenomenal again. Absolutely phenomenal again. How many weeks on the spin does this kid have to put in unbelievable performance after unbelievable performance before people start saying, do you know what? He's actually a really, really, really good left back. A really, really solid left back. You know, he's had his critiques and he's had his criticisms and sometimes, you know, fair criticisms, but give that kid his praise when he's due it, because how many of the best players in this league, apparently the best league in the world, how many of the best wingers in the best league in the world does he have to come up against and completely and utterly just have no issue dealing with before people start saying, do you know what, he's quite good, isn't he? Unbelievable. Jared Branthwaite. I mean, just going back to that performance at Goodison last season against Newcastle, I don't want to pick on names too much. I think it was it Michael Keane that started that game? I'm not going to sit here and just have a go at Michael Keane for the sake of it, but look at the difference. Jared Branthwaite, you know, there's a £70 million striker there in Alexander Isak, who last season was so dominant and has been dominant against a number of fantastic, you know, defenders since he's joined the Premier League, and yet Jared Branthwaite just bounced them. John says it's a one-off. Calm down. Yeah, one-off. So was Forest, Palace, Brentford, West Ham, Bournemouth, Burnley, Brighton that we should have won. That's what, 6 one-offs there. Fair enough, John. But yeah, Jared, again, colossal today. Absolutely colossal. And he just makes everybody next to him better. Tarkowski's more comfortable. Pickford's more comfortable. Mikalenko, it's no coincidence that Mikalenko has come into his own much, much more since he's had Jared Brantwaite directly next to him at left centre-back. Ashley Young today, fantastic. I've criticised him. I've had a go at him. I've given him a little bit of stick here and there when he's not performed. Fantastic today. Might even get an 8, 9 out of 10 in the player ratings, which we'll be doing directly after this video, by the way. 360 people watching. I know for a fact that not every one of you is subscribed to this channel. Please do subscribe. It only takes a second. It means a huge amount to me. We're trying to get towards 9,000 subscribers. If you could, it would mean a huge amount to me. Yeah, Ashley Young, unbelievable. The midfield, Duke's not hugely in the game, as we know has been a problem with him at Goodison Park this season, but he pops up in the moment we needed him to. He pops up with a hugely important goal. I thought Garner Gay was fabulous today, considering we were missing arguably our 2 best midfielders in James Garner and Onana. The midfield didn't struggle at all today. Dwight McNeil, again, works his arse off, battles, fights, scores an absolute worldie, another worldie. Jack Harrison thought he was poor in the first half, but the moment we scored, I think he was our best player after the first goal, Jack Harrison. And I think he was one of our less influential players before the first goal, and that just shows you how much confidence he gained from going 1-0 up. He was running every ball down, he was chasing every ball, he was putting them under pressure. He was really lively in that final 20 minutes, and if you can get that from him for the entire 90, then you've got a really good player on your hands. It's just about getting that out of him. Dwight McNeil again today, I thought, was absolutely outstanding. The goal is fantastic. It's an absolute worldie. It really is. Again, how many of them does he have to score before people go, do you know what a fantastic footballer he is. We were fantastic tonight. It could have been 7, 8, 9. Now, yes, Newcastle had a couple of opportunities that maybe we got a little bit fortunate with at times, but the reality of the situation is there's not one human being on this planet, not one Newcastle fan I will listen to, nobody that can genuinely sit there and tell me that Newcastle deserved something out of that game. Nobody at all. Was 3-0 a bit flattering? Maybe it is a little bit flattering, similar to how the Manchester United 3-0 win at Goodison a couple of weeks ago was a little bit flattering. But there's not one person on this planet, Eddie Howe and those Newcastle players included, that could honestly sit there and say to themselves, we deserve more out of that game. Those players and that manager deserve more credit than it is possible for me to sit here and give. They really do. They've been hit with an unprecedented situation, an unprecedented circumstance. We're nearly at 100 likes, by the way. If you could hit that like button, it would be great. 10 points deducted for something that, regardless, we can sit here all day and debate whether or not Everton should have had a points deduction. I believe that the punishment is harsh. So do most people. Some people will say it isn't harsh because you cheated. Reality of the situation is, what everybody will agree on is that it is not the fault of those players and it is not the fault of that manager. And within 2 weeks, not only have they dragged themselves out of that relegation battle, of that relegation zone, not only have they dragged themselves out of the danger, but they've also won 2 out of the 3 games post that news. Can you imagine how mentally draining, how emotionally draining, how physically hurting that was when those players who'd done so well to put themselves in a position where we weren't having to worry about relegation, for them to wake up or look on their phones to see that we were right back in the shit through no fault of their own and all of their hard work had just basically gone for nothing. Do you know how difficult it then is to pick yourself back up, come back from your international break, join up with the rest of your teammates and go, do you know what, fuck it, this is us versus everyone. Play Manchester United, Forest away, a team that we struggled at last season away from home, not in terms of the result, but it wasn't an easy afternoon. And then a Newcastle team that are in the Champions League and still, towards the top of the league table, all within a week, and get 6 out of 9 points. And 2 of them games comfortably win without any real issue. I'm now looking at Sunday against Chelsea thinking, yeah, I fancy us to go and beat them comfortably as well. Because I honestly think that if we play like that, we will win the majority of our games at Goodison Park. And you might say, what does play like that mean, Cam? Play like that means outwork the opponent, outrun the opponent, battle with them. Playing like that means Ashley Young chasing a ball down in the 85th minute when we're 2-0 up, when the goalkeeper's got it in the box. Playing like that is Beto running through one-on-one and putting the ball in the back of the net, with 5 minutes to go. Playing like that is making sure that if you do lose the game, you can't say, oh, well, I could have done more there, or we should have been better. You've just got to hold your hands up and say, it was one of those days. Chelsea will absolutely shit themselves at the weekend if Everton turn up and play like that. They won't be able to deal with it. And imagine if we win that game as well, what another huge 3 points that would be. I fancied us today for 2 reasons. Firstly, because I fancied the fans to be up for it because of, the I don't want to say hatred towards Newcastle, that's probably a bit strong, but because of the slight rivalry the two clubs have, I fancied the fans to be up for it. And I fancied us to get at what I believe is not a very good Newcastle team. I think it's an average Newcastle team with a couple of standout players that has been managed brilliantly by Eddie Howe. But that doesn't take away from the fact that this manager and these players deserve every single ounce of credit that we can give them, because they didn't ask to be put in this position. It's not like last season where we were in the bottom 3 at times because we weren't playing well enough or we weren't working hard enough. We've only been in the bottom 3 this season through no fault of our own, and even then we've dragged ourselves back out of it. The fight, the determination, the desire. I questioned Sean Dyche an awful lot at the start of this season. I questioned them when we lost to Fulham. I questioned them when we lost to Wolves. I questioned them when we lost to Luton. I questioned them because there was a lot of performances where Everton were the better team, creating chances but not winning games. And not only did he turn that around, which impressed me, and I said on multiple live streams, fair play to him, he's turned it around, he deserves credit for that. Not only did he do that, he then, in a moment of sheer adversity, in a never-before unprecedented situation, when those players could have had their heads dropped and just gone, what's the fucking point? And we could have lost a couple of games on the spin, and we could have moaned and felt sorry for ourselves and moaned around and just sort of seen the season out without any real sort of fight. We didn't. He got them players together and he said, this ain't fucking happening, lads. This is not happening. We're Everton fucking Football Club. Those fans out there, they love this football club and they will not see it go down lying down. We shall not be moved. The chant that is being sung at every game now. We're Everton Football Club. We're not Newcastle. We're not, fucking one of these other football clubs that are there just to exist. We're Everton fucking Football Club. We won't go down without a fight, especially after an injustice. And that tonight was pure Everton. It was a fuck you to the Premier League. It was a show that corruption will never win, because it won't win. No matter how much the referee was given in his brown envelope with a big green and white flag on it before the game, no matter how hard he tried to give everything to Newcastle, doesn't matter. Those players deserve a massive pat on the back and as much credit as they can. And do you know, if we stick by these players and we understand that sometimes we will lose games of football, sometimes players will have an off day, but you know what? These want to fight for this football club, these want to work for this football club, and these love this football club as much as we do. They've shown that. They've absolutely shown that, as is the manager. And if we continue to bring that energy like we did today at Goodison Park, 40,000 Evertonians losing their voices, absolutely unbelievable. And the players continue to give that effort in that fight, we'll be more than okay. More than okay. But not just this season. Forget the points deduction, forget the relegation battle, forget whether or not we'll stay up. This is an opportunity for us to create something that we've not had at this football club for a long, long time. Unity, togetherness, fight, desire, everybody working towards the same goal. The manager, the players, the board, is now completely different to what it was, 2 years ago when we all wanted them out, and it will change again because obviously of the takeover. There's absolutely no reason why this football club shouldn't be together. There's no reason why we shouldn't all be fighting for the same thing and, battling for the same thing. And today showed it. When we pick ourselves up and when we say, no, fuck you, this isn't happening, we can beat anybody. We can beat anybody. And do you know what? I'll go as far as to say you could have put any team in front of Everton today. You could have put Manchester City, you could have put Newcastle, you could have put Man United, you could have put Liverpool, you could have put anybody, and we'd have beaten them tonight. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. And I know I'm not buzzing and jumping around, and I'm shattered for a start. I'm cold. But I'm so proud of this team. I'm beyond proud of this football club. And I can't even begin to explain how I have felt over the last 2 years. I've had many of time over the last 2 years. I've never admitted this, but I've had many a time over the last 2 years where I've thought, what's the point? What's the point in me watching this football club every week? What's the point in me doing 4, 5, 6, 7 videos a week talking about it? Because it doesn't make me happy. The players don't seem like they care. The manager doesn't seem like he cares. The board don't care, etc., etc., etc. But we've still come on, we've still done them, and we've still been here, and we've still battled, and we've still turned up at Goodison, and we've still gone away. I can't tell you how good it feels to now be able to sit here and go, I've got a squad of players that I know mightn't be the best, mightn't be the most talented, mightn't be the finished articles, might make mistakes, might do things wrong, might have off days, but they care about this football club. And this manager makes sure that they care about this football club, or he gets them out. And there was an example of a player who didn't care about this football club, who was pushed out by this manager on the pitch today, but he wasn't wearing an Everton kit. And look at how he performed. Unbelievable. Unbelievable win. Unbelievable performance. Gutted, really, because last time we done an instant match reaction after the Newcastle game, I think I had about 3,000 people watching because it was Geordies on the way home laughing their head off. Well, I wonder what they're watching now. Probably fucking Home Alone or Elf or something to cheer themselves up, because what a horrible night it was for them, and I can't tell you how happy I am about that. Get in, up the fucking toffees. I am absolutely buzzing. Player ratings will be up shortly. Look out for that one. Obviously, the review will be tomorrow. Games are coming thick and fast. And, yeah. My football club. By the way, my football club. Let's just have a look at the Premier League table. Not that it means anything, because as we've said, it's absolutely fake. Everton now 10 points. In the real Premier League table, Everton have just gone above Chelsea with 20 points and sit currently in 10th in the top half of the table. So, there you go. There you go. That's how we've got to treat it. That's how we've got to treat it. And we've got to go out there on Sunday and play like we're playing against the team that are in and around us in the table, because that's where Chelsea should be. But, yeah. Unbelievable. The manager, I can't give enough credit to. The players, I can't give enough credit to. The fans, by the way. The fans, I can't give enough credit to. You know, obviously the FA Cup game was announced today. We're playing Palace on like a Thursday night away from home in the FA Cup, and obviously that is shocking and absolutely no consideration to any of the Evertonians that will be travelling up. But we'll still sell that out, and we'll still sell it out instantly, and we'll still be there in our numbers. And we would be if we were not doing well. We would be if we were top of the league, because we have got the best fans in the world, and we deserve performances like today. Unbelievable. Get in, up the toffees, leave a like if you've enjoyed it. Please do subscribe if you're new as well. That'd mean a huge amount to me. We'll be live literally in 5 minutes with the player ratings, so look out for those. Yeah. Up the toffees. Get in. Yes. By the way, Beto, unbelievable. Unbelievable. Dwight McNeil, Abdoulaye Doucouré, but Beto, what a guy. That will give him the world of confidence now to push on and hopefully get many, many more in blue. Up the toffees. See you after.